Hello.
What's up, guys? It's Spooky Snyder's here, and we're with the amazing Ryan Rocks. Talk about her film. All right, so let's hear about Hidden Flora, Ryan.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Um, Everything. Yeah. So, I went into the movie. If you guys have yet to watch the movie, where is it streaming currently?
It is now streaming on Relay, Here TV, Fandango at Home, and Tubi.
Heck yeah. So I didn't go in expecting it to be as heavy as it was. I thought it was a little bit lighter from the trailers. Um, wow, Ryan. Absolutely wow.
Okay, so at least for me, because I wasn't expecting so many layers that you had created, and also like you were literally hand in hand with Roxy as they are going through all of these things. And I'm gonna tell the one question is like when was the moment that you were like, okay, I'm gonna put this down on paper and I'm going to just let it all out?
Yeah, I mean, my films that I made before, which were short films, were kind of personal and unpacking things I hadn't unpacked before.
Yeah.
I was unaware of the benefits of therapy at the time, and so I was therapizing myself through film, and that part of me that was so private, that felt like no one should know this, and I shouldn't even tell like anyone about this. That was the stuff that was really weighing on me, and I thought, okay, if I'm gonna make a feature film, what do I want to say? What do I want to be out there? What do I want to help people with and help myself with ultimately? And so I just said, I'm going to rip the band aid off and talk about the things that people don't often talk about. People
Yeah.
hide away, especially, back in the day. Now there's a lot of resources and people are sharing more just in general. There's things like TikTok and YouTube that connect people in ways that we didn't have back in the day. And so I decided, I'm going to just tell people everything, my deepest, darkest secrets as I thought they were, and hopefully get some closure from that. And I decided I'm going to write a chapter a day, talk about one person a day. The original title was The Seven Boys and Men That Changed My Life. And so essentially, I would just get my phone and do a voice memo and walk around my living room and say, like I was telling a story, like I was telling it to a friend or to a therapist or someone that wanted to hear about it. And I said, okay, this is it. This is Jared, and this is what happened with him, and this is Braden, and so on and so forth. And yeah, within 2 weeks, I wrote the script. I just had to transcribe it, but essentially, the script is just me telling my stories, telling the formative relationships of my life that started as a teen, as most of us do, and led up to me being late 20s adult that was still trying to figure stuff out, because we don't really figure it all out as teens or even 20-year-olds
It's
or
definitely
30. I don't know. Do you have
no,
it figured out? I don't.
yeah, no, like even at watching the film and how everything was just so beautifully done and taken with so much care. And that's something that I appreciated about that, because yes, we have films and stuff like that, especially about, let's just say, like coming of age and stuff like that. It's mostly those movies, like yes, we have a handful that do like reach the depths of the soul, but most of like coming of age, they're either comedy or different things. And yes, like there are some breathers in Hidden Flora. However, like um you know, and this is something that my sister said, like, we both appreciated just how much love and care was put into it. That's what we were talking. That's what me and my sister were talking about. So,
So Ryan, I've known you since before you started your transition, and I've known you since you were in high school. And it is really crazy to see how far you've come, and I'm so proud of you. And I think that looking at Hidden Flora, there was a lot to just like the service level that I knew from having experience, like having interactions with you before to now where you're at now. And I think that it's there was so much more to you as a person that I don't think that a lot of people, especially when we were younger, really understood about it. And I think that the movement not only for whether it be trans lives or LGBTQ allies, things like that. I think even in that last 20 some years that we've known each other, it's crazy to see how far everything has come. Um, I know that your film for you was pulled from your life. Did you feel that did you think that it was going to be as life changing, this experience, now being able to look at your creation, or was it still just like, what am I doing in the moment?
Yeah, no, I definitely had no idea. Like a girl can dream, but not as much as what has happened and who I've met along the way and the people that have touched me and the people that I've connected with over the years, and the fact that it's still getting kind of newfound people that are like finding it now. It's just like new audiences every time there's some, like, there was the festival run, and then I thought, okay, that's over and that's done with. I don't know if we'll get. Not everybody gets distribution. Not everyone gets released on streaming platforms, and I certainly did not know the route to that. I never dealt with a sales agent or anything like that, and so for it to be picked up by Here TV and bought by Here TV, I'm so grateful to them. And then I guess the traction of that maybe continued, and the rest followed, and now it's on a more accessible platform. And so yeah, I mean, I get people still. I think it's only been on Tubi for a month, and people are coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, and finding me on my social media platforms and saying, "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm from Michigan or something, and I found your film on Tubi, and it's really cool, and this is great, and I just want to reach out and say thanks." And those things are really are something I couldn't have predicted, and we really thought this movie is going to be something just so fun and quick to make, and we didn't predict the critical or fan acclaim that it would get. And it's cool that we got both. Like, to
yes.
premiere in New York City at New Fest, which is like my dream festival, the largest LGBT festival in the country, is like insane. And the people I met there is crazy. I mean, I I have so many like people I look up to that I got to connect with and that I'm friends with now. But again, like on the other side of it, people from my hometown that see me and want to tell me their story. That's what I love about the accessibility of Tubi. It's
Yes.
really great that now a lot more people can see it if they couldn't afford it. And that was one of the things that was important to me in the beginning was I want this to be seen by everyone, and I want it to be mass spread because my what I want is for people to get the message and see the movie that I wish I had when I was 16.
Oh, yeah. So I have been sharing your movie with all of my
With
friends,
everyone.
with all of my friends. And in fact, my sister watched it like today, like I think maybe a couple of hours or a few hours before we started the interview.
Wow.
She literally sent me a picture of her ugly crying. And then, like, we
Oh.
had a whole conversation after that. That's why I was kind of late to respond. But she is out there somewhere in Arkansas driving around and having a her day because
Oh,
she was like, it literally changed my life.
She
wow.
actually
And
wants
that
to
short amount. She's actually coming down in April to come and meet you.
she want
Oh my
she
She
wants
wants
gosh.
to meet you.
yeah, she
That's
wants to
so
Yes.
see she wants
sweet.
so
Yes.
for April, you have a new film coming out. What is the film and what is it around?
Yes.
Is it a continuation of Hidden Flora, or what do we have to look forward to?
I mean, kind of in a way because my films are often based on my life, and this next short film is called Not Exactly Strangers, and it takes place a year ago, almost to the day, and that's how fast I was like, I'm going to therapize myself immediately. That's my little life hack is instead of waiting around, I'm just going to make a movie about it until it's in the past. And
Yes.
so I had a relationship with someone, and it was someone that I knew in the before times, which is what we call it before
Yes.
we transition. And yeah, I had known someone just as a friend that I had a crush on, but he was straight and he had a girlfriend, and so we drifted off. And then we matched on an app, and he came over, and I wasn't sure if he knew me or recognized me. And so that's where the title Not Exactly Strangers comes into play. And it's about a Latina trans woman who just got bottom surgery, and is trying to figure out what it means to be a born again virgin, so to speak. Because, yeah, I mean, when you have bottom surgery, you essentially lose your virginity twice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's messy, it's complex, it's awkward, and it's almost like a coming of age story for a 32-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's like, how does that happen? But it's pretty funny and pretty unique to my situation. But I have a feeling that people are going to relate to it or find a way to relate to it, whether they're even trans or not.
Like I'm so honestly, I told my sister I was well, like I said, tell everyone. But like I'm really excited to see like what that's about and all that. And in fact, I was telling him like I'm just going to go back to the movies that Ryan's already shot. Like I'm just, all the discography. So, but I was talking to my friend Jacoby. They also transitioned. He is amazing, and I was like, "Hey, you have got to watch this movie called Hidden Flora." And he watched it, and when I tell you the next day, he had notes. He had all these things. But I did ask him, would there be anything that you would like to ask Ryan, while, we do the interview? And he was like, hold on.
I have so many questions.
And actually, I have three because he was like, well, I don't know how to ask. And I was like, honey, just pick three. Just think about three, and I'll ask.
You could DM the
So
rest.
yes. So well, okay. So one of the questions that he had asked is, did making this help you understand that version of yourself any differently?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, let's see, I started transitioning in April of 2021, and I wrote this at the end of 2022. So I was still like, I think, considering myself non-binary and, barely transitioning, kind of figuring myself out. And so it was a lot of reflection so that I could kind of move on and figure out where I'm at. And I I feel like it helped me in a way in the writing process because I thought I was done with the script, and then I never really show other people the script because I'm like, this is my life. I know it. You can't have like critical thoughts about my life because I know how it actually went. And so I was just very stubborn in that. And I read it to my producers and our friend who was just happened to be there. His name's Gabe. And he was at the table and he heard it out loud. And, I wasn't necessarily thinking he would have anything to say because he's not really in the business. He's a chef. But he pointed out like the biggest thing ever. And at the end, originally, I was in a situationship, honestly. It wasn't in a relationship, but I was like hopeful. And so I was very happy and I was like, this is great. Roxy's going to end up with the all these guys were frogs and Roxy has her prince now and
Yeah.
then like, everything's fine now. And so the end was like happily ever after. She gets into bed with a guy that's treating her right and she lives happily ever after. And so my friend Gabe was like, I like it, I love it. I mean, I love the script and everything, but the end I'm not so sure on. And I'm like, really? What I guess what do you have to say, really defensive. And he's like, I feel like it feels like Roxy went through all this trouble and didn't learn anything. And she just kind of
Oof.
got back with another guy. And so it seems like it's more about the guy. And I feel like she should learn how to love herself, and that should be the moral. And so
Yes.
Loki, he kind of made, I mean, not to spoil it, I guess I'm kind of spoiling the ending, but he kind of changed the ending for better. And I ended up breaking up with that person like months later. And so to think about it that way, I guess I wasn't there yet. Obviously, I was in a
Yeah.
relationship, so I wasn't thinking about it. But in the years since, I feel like I learned to love myself, and the film definitely helps me with that. And yeah, I'm really grateful to Gabe for pointing that out.
Yeah, no, seriously, like, um, okay, so I really do believe that the reason it means so much to me and my sister is because, like, it's a human experience. So, like, to want love, to want to be accepted, to want to be like, or just have a nice good life with someone who loves you and all of that. Yeah, that's the dream. But like, I know, especially with my experience with domestic violence and also surviving SA, and then also with my sister surviving the same, um that was actually the one that your friend had posed to you about, like, has Roxy really learned something? My sister and I both have had to have that conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And I one of the things that just it like after, like, this is what my sister said, it's like during heart surgery. You did heart surgery. You ripped it out. You were like, okay, you put a mirror up there and then you put it back and you mended the viewer back up and it was healing. And just, I know for her, she was like, my life is like completely changed after this film and all this other stuff, and same for me. But like, accepting accepting yourself is the most important thing that anyone can ever do. And like it, and that's one of the parts where we were like, she really hit the nail on the head with all of this and stuff like that. And yeah, so, but also another question.
Well, she pulls that up. I actually did
Yeah.
have. I had two things. So one thing that was shared by Jacoby with us was the statistics of trans lives in general.
Yes.
He's older. He just turned
He
40,
just turned 40.
and he was letting us know the statistics of like the survival rate for trans people. Where do you think when it's initially when it started to get more and more momentum to where it's at now, and being able to have these conversations and these open communications and learning and growing and supporting one another, as being part of the trans community, where do you think, what helps you the most to get to where you're at now? To help you not to just become another statistic, but to want to help and reach out to other people that have been in the same situation and show that raw authenticity to your life.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics are because of, you know, things that were affecting Roxy partially. You know, obviously it's um, not getting acceptance from people that you love and, um, feeling like you're alone in the world and, feeling suicidal. That is one of the risks with trans kids not being accepted and not feeling accepted, at least. And even as you get older, if you make it out of those hard times, then it becomes, the government not giving you what you need, even as an adult with autonomy over your body. It's taking away that autonomy and taking away things that are prescribed by doctors and agreed upon. And that also ends up with people being suicidal. And then on top of that, it's, these people like Roxy encounters, which I think the film, that's another thing I learned from it that I took away from it. Because I think I initially wrote these characters as these are the villains in Roxy's story. These are the bad guys. And as my actors started playing these characters and really digging into where they're coming from and what their motivations are, they like humanized these guys for me in a way that I hadn't been able to myself. And I felt like I was able to forgive those guys because it's like, okay, well, I was 16, they were 16. I was not aware of like what I wanted even. I didn't even know I was trans. And so I understand their confusion and their hesitation coming out in a way that was unhealthy and negative and hurt other people. But unfortunately, yeah, later on in life, some people, especially trans people, have people like this that are hiding them and trying to placate what they think that their bros and their friends might think if they found out they were the trans person. They might, I mean, it's honestly internalized homophobia because they think my friends will consider me gay if I'm with a trans person, which is not true. And so they take it out on trans people. And unfortunately, again, back to the government, there are certain states where there's a trans panic defense. So if somebody finds out someone's trans while they're having sex with them or they're doing anything with them and they murder them, they can get off on that charge. They can use a trans panic defense. And so it's like, well, what does that mean for trans people if our lives are not protected and someone can willingly murder us and there's not even a government to tell them you have to go to jail or be punished for what you did. So it kind of emboldens people like that to not take us seriously. And so there's, a number of reasons why we're unsafe. And that's all thinking about like Trump era. Now things are even more scary and intense, and people's medicines are not only being taken away from children, which are reversible medicines. There's definitely a lot of misinformation about hormone blockers and puberty blockers. But now they're trying to take away the rights of trans adults as well, take away our medicine, take away our dignity, take away even our identification as trans people. And yeah, it's scary. It's scarier now than it has ever been. And there was already a lot of things to be scared of. But that is part of why I do it. I feel like I come from a place of immense privilege, and I would rather use that privilege to speak up for the people that don't have a voice. And, um, I don't want to be the voice of trans people, but if I can help people that don't have a voice, I want to. But I would also say, I can't answer for all trans people, and I'm sure all trans people don't want me to answer for them. But when I think of like myself as a younger kid or the trans kids that are out there today feeling scared and alone and unsafe and like there's no hope, I want them to know that there is a future and we will get past this.
Yes. And that you make that point is kind of like it gets better. That part. I was talking to Jacoby today, and he was like, "Yeah, like the movie, it gave me hope."
And I think the film, like, Ryan, I have, like, wow. That's all I can say. Like, honestly, like, because I've known you for your whole life, and to see how far you, like I said, and I'm getting choked up just even thinking about it. Like, I know you don't want to speak for everyone. You're showing your story, you're telling your story in a way. But I think that it resonates so hard with people, and especially now with not only the government, but all of these things that are happening to trans rights. I think that it's needed. And I think, typically when we do movie reviews, we knock them out just quick. But this film, we were like, no, we are not going to do that. We are not just going to put a little 2-minute little clip of it out. Like, it needs to have, it needs to get paid the respect and the dues that it has.
Yes.
You did touch on something that I wanted to ask. That was my second question is, if you could talk to a younger version, 16-year-old version of yourself, what would you tell yourself?
um, I think I would say it's tough, right? Because back in the day, I don't know that I was mm, mistakenly hiding my identity. I think I was protecting myself,
Mm.
and I would like to think that I could say, be more authentically you faster because you're delaying your life and like living. Um, But unfortunately, I just think it was more dangerous to do that back then. And I wish my partner is talking about always talks about all the theater that she did in high school. And I was always nervous to be too outspoken. And I pretended to be very soft spoken and quiet and emo and but it was mainly a defense mechanism to like be incognito and blend in the shadows so that I didn't draw too much attention to myself, because if people knew that I was queer, then they might want to harm me or make fun of me and harm my mental health. And um, but yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. I think I needed to go through all the things I needed to go through to even be a good filmmaker. All the stories that I tell are usually from a place of experience, and if I hadn't had those experiences, I don't know if I'd be able to be, an actor and be able to pull from times that I've had heartbreak and that I've been scared and that I've been lonely and that I've been sad, if I just had a great life and a great childhood, a great upbringing. So maybe it just needed to be how it needed to be, but I'm really glad that I can make sure it's better for other people that are my age now, or that age that I was then now. And I'm happy for them. I love being the idea of paving the way and being an elder queer to make the future better for others, like
And
people have done for me, honestly, because my queer elders have been fighting for my rights to even exist today.
yes, yes, and that's another thing. Like, um, this movie is so needed, is what I would say, because
Especially now more than ever.
especially now more than ever. Because I'm pretty sure my sister's going to show her kids and all this other stuff. So, which by the way, they're not kids anymore. They're well in their 20s.
They're kids.
They're babies to me. but like I know, especially about hearing stories, especially with the younger generation, how hard it is and how scary it is to just be out and be themselves and all that, because yeah, like there is a real fear of being harmed just by simply existing. So like yes, I did take a lot for my life, and then my sister with hers, like she said, like I literally have to go driving. Like she was bawling her eyes out. She's like, I need to go for a drive, but like you've changed my life, you changed my sister's life, and I know that the younger people that are able to see this movie, that it will change their lives too. And so like
Did you
it's
expect
so
for it to
needed.
resonate as much as it did?
I mean, that was the hope, but yeah, the expectation has been well exceeded, and especially just I don't know, like being able to go to film festivals in places I had never been before, and people telling me like in person how much it meant. It's just really cool, and um, yeah, it's tough screening and getting places to be brave enough to show it. And so, I mean, I'm just really glad that, you know, with all this political pressure, regime pressure, that there are places that are not only queer friendly, like Here TV, where they have all queer content, but that there's places that even beyond that. Grateful to, Relay and Fandango at Home and Tubi, of course, for having queer accessible content and not being scared to not only host it, but to pay queer filmmakers for
Yes.
having it. And, the ads that are shown in Hidden Flora, those advertisers that are willing to be put alongside something
Yes.
that other people might think, oh, that is, that's adult content. That shouldn't be seen by kids. And it's like, no, I mean, kids have always been able to find like HBO shows
Oh,
and rated
yeah.
R movies, and those ones back in the day, especially like I mean horror films, like as y'all know,
Yeah.
they're gory and they're scary, and maybe
Yes.
kids shouldn't be watching them at 10 or whatever when we were. But that's why I'm always like, I don't know if I would ever put like a rating on Hidden Flora, because I think if I was old enough to experience it in real life, kids should be able to watch it and know what to look forward to and look also to avoid, things to look to avoid. Yeah.
Yes.
So you talked about your hard-headedness and your stubbornness at the beginning. When it came to stepping behind the camera opposed to acting in your film, were there certain things that you were watching play out and you're like, this isn't how it actually happened? Like, if it happened,
No,
or did you kind of just let them just run with it?
no, Luca Silver is the best and took this so seriously. When I wrote it, I told them when I was ready to film it, like, I have a script. I can't imagine anyone else playing Roxy. No pressure, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna make this without you. And sorry, but that's just the tea. Like, I
Yes.
don't want to make it inauthentically. I want a queer person to play this. Like, only a queer person knows how to. And if anything, I loved what they say in interviews, that when they took this on, they knew it was about me. And so people are like, how are you, is it awkward playing someone that's standing right behind the camera? And they always said, it was never about playing a caricature of Ryan. It was not, let me see how she acts and let me see how she walks, let me see how she talks. it's about the feelings, and also finding a version that they could compare to their own lives. And I'm blown away to this day about how well Luca did in the film, and I'm glad they're getting their flowers. Like a lot of people, they've been nominated for acting awards for it, and won some as well. And it's their first film that they really did. I think they did a couple of short films. They did their own, and they did another film of their friends, and um, but yeah, it's basically their first acting foray, and they're mainly a director and an editor, and I just think they did so good, and um, yeah, I let them do their own thing, and I really didn't direct them in a way that's like, no, 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 this is how it went. There were times that I just brought it up because it was fun, because we did film in some places where it actually happened, and I'm like, I don't know if that's weird or gross, but like they were like in the real bed where those things happened, and they were in the real car where those things happened. So I was like, this is very meta. But just so you know, y'all. I don't know. That's TMI, but
No, definitely not.
well, for them, because they were like sitting in the seat where it's like, oh, this is the real.
Oh.
I was like, oh, sorry, it's been cleaned.
So, what the film touches on a lot of different things. She mentioned essay as well as like just everything. What was the hardest for you to shoot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think obviously the essay scenes were tough. I know Charlie and Luca really were like, actually the whole crew the night that we filmed Rivers and Roxy scene, everybody was in a light mood. They were like joking around off when it wasn't when we weren't filming, and um, it was a long night, but I think maybe subconsciously or consciously everybody was very like making jokes outside of it, so that it was keeping it light. And I know um, it's just like it was important for me to make the essayers into like the sweetest actors, because it'd be hard to work with someone that's actually creepy and mean and scary.
Yeah.
So like Jeff McKnight is just the biggest teddy bear, and he plays Santa Claus at malls for kids, and like he's just so sweet. And so for him to be in that role, like the second up to the second before and the second out of the role, like he's so sweet. So it was very easy to be like, I know that that's not him, and yeah, it was great to work with people that were very sweet to play
Yes.
these like, I mean, for those two people, like I'll say bad people. But yeah, and surprisingly, there was the last scene, the purple dress scene. My the person that was our lead PA who was doing sound that day actually asked to be excused. Because he had had something similar happen to his friend, and he didn't want to watch it. And we were absolutely accommodating. We were like, please, yes, of course, and we'll call you when it's over. And our producer ended up stepping in, and so there's a picture of our producer with the boom. There was a couple people that had the boom, and we kind of passed it around. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that wasn't necessarily hard for me, but um, I know for other people, other days there were harder days. Um, but yeah, I think we tried to make sure that everybody was always healthy, and at the beginning of every day, we would all get together and get in a circle, and we would breathe together, because I think there's something about the feeling of urgency on a set. When you get to a set, it's like,
Yes.
okay, we gotta go, go, go. We got a call time. We gotta start shooting. We're gonna lose daylight. There's money, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, we're not going into every day like that, because then everyone's gonna be agitated and yelling, and I don't want that. So it's like, okay, we're all here. Everything's ready. Let's bring it back down. Let's ground ourselves. Let's breathe and realize this is just a movie. Nobody needs to be yelling at each other over anything. No one's feelings need to be hurt. Um, so that was very helpful, I think, also to make sure that everybody was taken care of. We even said, like, don't comment on anyone's bodies to them, about them, to other people, negative or positive. Like, people are going to be shirtless. You could think you're saying something nice, like, wow, you have a really nice body, or like, wow, you've been working out. And you don't know how that's going to be perceived to that other person. Maybe they're like, okay, so I have to be this body type from now on because, I wanted to eat more, but that person says I look good now. So that's going to start a complex in them or something. So there were a lot of agreements on set, and we did have a great intimacy coordinator who made sure everybody felt comfortable about all of the very intense scenes in the film. And so yeah, I think it was actually a pleasant experience, even though it might seem like it'd be a little stressful.
Oh, and I really do appreciate that in a director because I've done makeup and stuff like that on film myself. So I have witnessed screaming matches and all of that. Yeah, yeah. But I really do appreciate that you take that time with your crew and be like, hey, let's just breathe, let's just have a few moments and then go in. I think that is so awesome to put in like a day of filming. That's so cool.
Because it kind of just it loosens that tension.
Yeah.
And that
And it could build again, and it had. Like, I think
Yeah.
even the river and Roxy scene that night, it was such a long night, it was so stressful, and there were times when, like, I think all three of us producers, like, were stressed, and we, like, walked into a living room, we all, like, kind of, like, all right, like, I'm not mad at you, you're not mad at me. Like, we just kind of made sure because like our egos are so fragile. But it
Yes.
was also cool because it was mainly like women and trans people and queer people on a set, and so there's also a different vibe about it, just
Yes.
naturally, I
Yes.
think. More
Yes.
aware of people's feelings, and
Yes. Yes.
so we're
Yes.
able to kind of acknowledge the feelings and move on.
Yes.
Did you have Jacoby's other two
I
questions?
do. So, let me. Okay, here we go. So, do you think that Las Cruces itself, the way that Jacoby had worded it, because it's set in Las Cruces that feels both close and kind of lonely, and the question is, do you think that here, Las Cruces, made self-discovery harder or clearer, or both?
um, yeah, I think there's two reasons the beginning feels very like stuck. And part of it was we filmed the first part of the movie with like no money. We didn't think it was going to do anything. We were just like having fun. We're like, let's see if we can film a feature film in a week. Like, we had enough for Lucas flight out, and that's it. And we're like, you're going to bring your own clothes, and like, we're
Yeah.
going to use my house, and that's it. Like, we'll figure it out from there. And we ended up kind of thinking this is like really good. Like, maybe we should take more time and effort and save some money. And so that is part of why in the beginning it feels like we're just in like rooms. We're not really exploring a world, so to speak. And then we got some money because I worked on a job in costumes on this movie in the summers. And so a month on there, making a like SAG day rate, helped us film the following month for another week. And that's when Roxy's world kind of opens up because we have more money, but also it kind of works because when you're a high schooler, all you know is like school and your room, and that's it. And so it was appropriate that we got money when we started filming the scenes when she's like living on her own and going out and partying and exploring the world. So it worked out kind of perfectly. But yeah, I think it was important for Cruces to be the place that it took place. It's where it really happened. Um, I love showing off our beautiful city, and I think I even had hesitation showing White Sands because I was like, oh, everybody films there. Everyone does. Even Gaga and Beyonce have done this now, and But I thought about it and I'm like, okay, what if this is like showing in Australia? They're gonna be like, this is so cool. Like, what is this place? This is
Oh yes.
awesome. So I
Oh
was like, I'm
yes.
glad I thought bigger because I was like, this is like around the corner. And to us, we might see it every day, but other people are gonna see it and they're gonna be like, wow, this is gorgeous. This is breathtaking. This is such a romantic scene. And I think it worked
Yes.
out that way.
No, it really did. Like, even when I came out to visit for the first time when me and him started dating, um, and stuff like that, I'm used to green and I'm just used to trees everywhere, my allergies acting up, all this other stuff. Okay, when I came down here, and I just felt such a healing place, and on top of that, like how beautiful it is. And so those scenes that like literally on White Sands, I was just like, that is gorgeous, so like you capturing those moments with Roxy and also with Freddie, and different, and also with the house and all of that stuff, like it really set the scene, really set it.
It's funny she says that is whenever she came down, when she first moved down, she would go and take pictures of the mountains and send them to her family.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
I mean, we still do that.
Yes.
I still do that because I live here and I'm still
Yes.
amazed
Yes.
by our sunsets.
Oh yes, like I even talked to other people that were like, "You're not from here." I was like, "No, I'm from Arkansas, but I love it here." And like they were like, "Well, why did you move down here?" I was like, my husband." And then obviously like the scenery, like
And the food.
and the food and the food. So like I know, like, especially like coming from Arkansas and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that everyone's like, wow, and I'm just like, yeah, it's beautiful, but I've seen it every day of my life. But like, just the beauty of this place, it's.
What was Jacoby's last question?
Oh, Jacoby's last question. Okay. Let me see. I had him pulled up, but let me. Okay. Okay, so I think I asked that one.
I think it's this one.
Okay. So the relationships in the film, like some of them feel really tender, but a little out of step. Did this film like change how? Well, and you kind of explained that, especially through the filming of the movie. Well, he asked, did this film change how you look back on that time in your life, which you've kind of already answered,
Yeah.
like talking about the people that were in your life and stuff like that, but actually like filming it and then watching as these actors kind of changed your outlook on the relationship, on that person. So
Yeah, and there was someone that I like. Actually, it's the River character. I reconnected with unexpectedly. Like he had no idea. I don't think he remembers that. I definitely don't think he assumes that he ever did anything wrong. And I didn't even realize it until much later that it was a reflective, like, oh, okay, that was non consensual. Um, and yeah, he just kind of was following me or he followed me on Instagram and was like, oh, wow, cool, you're a filmmaker now. Like, I'd love to see your movie. And I was just like, oh.
oh.
uh, yeah, I don't think it's playing in
Yeah.
California. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think he ended up deleting his Instagram. Luckily, before it's accessible, because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't know it's him because it's just.
Yeah.
You
I
changed
don't
the
know.
names, obviously.
Well, obviously,
I
yes,
changed the
to
names.
protect
He
everyone's
doesn't look
identity.
like that either. He's one of the few that like actually didn't look like him. Um, But the more I talk about it, maybe I shouldn't talk about it because if I don't know.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at
I don't know
that.
what he would do, right? Like, what would he do? Be mad at me for? I don't know. Nobody knows who he is.
One thing that I thought would be really cool and a cool idea to get a lot more hype on the movie, especially now. The people that have watched the film, I think it'd be cool if they did what their hidden Flora was and what it meant to them. I think it would be cool to do that and like use hashtag hidden Flora and then just try to see if we can get it trending.
Yes.
I think it would be cool.
Because this movie, it needs to be more widespread is what I would like to say. It needs to be more widespread. People really need to see this film. Because like I said, it will definitely help the youth. And on top of that, like heal, like even talking to Jacoby, like he said that this film like healed him. And it's also healed me in very many ways, and even my sister. Like we're gonna talk about it after the interview, actually, a lot more. But I know at least for her, like she was like, "This changed my life," and tell Ryan thank you. So, but yes, it needs to be more widespread, and more people need to know about it, for sure.
So your new film premieres here in our hometown in April. Yes. Super stoked for that.
Yes.
I think it would be really fun to do a ticket giveaway.
Yes.
So yeah, make sure you like hashtag Ryan Rocks, hashtag Hidden Flora, hashtag the name. What is the name of the film? I'm sorry.
It's Not Exactly Strangers.
Not Exactly Strangers.
And yeah, we can do a cool giveaway with it.
Yes.
I think it would be also really cool if. Do you have any posters for Hidden Flora?
Oh yeah, I have signed posters of Luca and myself.
I think it'd be cool to do a giveaway.
A giveaway for that too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
I probably have like a costume or a prop too. From
that
the movie.
would be
you know what scene she absolutely loves is the devil scene.
That is my favorite. It is my favorite one. Like Luca's costume is amazing. I love it. And then
I think it's Veronica, like from Archie, Halloween costume. I did give it to Luca, so I think you'd have to pry it out of their hands. But
no, Luca,
just so you know, if you find it, it's like a Hot Topic, like Archie costume. Betty and Veronica.
But yes, that scene in general for me, like even my sister, I know that we talked about it like way before this interview, that like I just wanted to hug Roxy. It was not because obviously, especially if you have experienced the things that Roxy has, or at least on whatever level that you might find yourself at, like me and my sister would just said that I could never hate Roxy. Never. 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 And she was like, all I wanted to do was just hold her. That's all I wanted to do. Just love on her. And but yes, like I know that we're going to talk about it more tonight, but like just that scene in general, it speaks volumes.
Yeah, and it's like unfortunate that when you're 19 and insecure, that's how you feel. You feel alone, and especially when you're hiding things from people that care about you that you don't realize you could probably share it with. You can talk to your parents and about your queerness, about your struggles, even if it's not as severe as Roxy's addictions, it's better to talk to somebody and get help than to suffer alone and feel like you're the only person that's dealing with this. And so I totally get that, and that is how I felt, right? It's like I'm the villain of the story now. Like I'm the one that put myself in these situations and I was asking for it and oh, you're not one to root for because you're, doing drugs and having sex and it's like no, that's a lot of people are doing that and a lot of people need help and want help and
Yes.
yeah, it's you're not alone essentially.
Yes, and that is exactly like the point definitely came across as that. And like um I know that especially with addiction, which, I'm 13 years sober from methamphetamine, um to know at that point, especially going through so much pain and so much like some people get to that point, they're just like, fuck it. I'm going to be me. I'm just going to do me, whatever. And like it really does, like you said, get to that point where you're just like, yeah, I'm the villain. Everyone likes to make me out to be one, so might as well. But but no, like that is a lonely spot to be in. That is such a lonely spot to be in. And the point, like I said, you definitely got across.
And there's like a parallel with that too, that the work I do now is um something I didn't know about until I kind of got into this work, but I work at a place that does HIV prevention and harm reduction, and that's kind of forced me to work with people that need these resources and they're coming in and asking me for them. And so now I get to be that person that gets to say, just so you all know, like there is this and this and this and this place you could go to. And I didn't know that about that back then. And I'm seeing, people that are my age I was then. Like I'm seeing 19, 20 year olds come in and they're asking for help. And I'm just so glad that I'm able to literally give it to them now and not just with like the power of filmmaking but
Yes.
physically, like give
Yes.
people safer smoking kits and Narcan and
Mhm.
things that literally will save their lives, and
Yes.
that just is the best feeling. So I'm so glad that I'm able to continue the work that really started with Hidden Flora.
Yes.
Heck yeah. So I think we're gonna end on that note, but we'll continue. I do have some other ideas for you, Ryan. Where can everyone find you, social media wise?
Let's see. My Instagram is I'm Ryan Rocks. I used to have a TikTok, but it got hacked, and I have not made a new one. Um, But I think you can still see videos of me from there and behind the scenes Hidden Flora stuff on TikTok. I'm Ryan Rocks. My YouTube, where you can find my first film, Crawl, and my third film, That Tingling Sensation, is Ryan Rocks Official. You can find my fourth film, Shipping Them, uh, on Daniela's Guest Book, which is a website of its own. And you can find Hidden Flora on Relay, Here TV, Fandango, and Tubi.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ryan, it was a pleasure talking with you. I'll give you a call here in just a second.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Yay! Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.